Welcome back to another edition of the Dirty Dozen podcast, season 9, I think it's like episode 4, but it should be week 6. We are here with the higher score of the week from last week, manager of Morning Woody, Rich Holly. Welcome to the show, buddy. It's good to see you, my friend.
Thank you, sir. It's been a while. It's been a while for the pod, been a while to speak with you. So looking forward to this. I know I claimed this weekly title by 0.18 points over Vinco, so I grateful for the opportunity.
Oh, that's wonderful. I'm happy for that too, honestly. And I think the league is happy for it too. So let's get right to it. We have some things on the agenda today. I know you definitely are one of those guys that came ready to talk. So we have limited time. Let's get right to it. So obviously giving everybody the floor to talk about their draft strategies, and I know your draft strategy is going to be interesting for me to hear because you and I were riding the snake together. So. And you reached out to me afterwards to give me kudos on my team after I drafted it. And it hasn't really panned out so well. And I liked your team. I don't know what grade I gave you, but I liked your team going into it. I thought you had a pretty stacked team. So just kind of run me through what you were thinking, picks you got, and how you feeling right now.
Yeah, definitely. I believe, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, I had the ninth overall pick.
11. You had the 11th pick.
Okay, well, that's a good start. So I had the I had the 11th pick. So at that point, it was just kind of like who was the best available. I kind of figured Genti would be there, and I'm always every year just RB heavy. I just think that there is so much more value at the receiver level later in the drafts than there are at the running back level because obviously receivers are valued based on the target share and the running backs are valued based on their carry
Carry
amounts.
percentage, yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard later in the drafts to find, unless barring injuries, to find running backs that are going to get you 10, 15 carries a game, while any receiver can kind of pop to get you 6, 8 targets a game. So that's always my strategy. Having Genti fall to me or be available at 11 seemed like an easy choice. I know there's probably research that goes into how rookie running backs do, but figured he would get in an offense that doesn't have many skill players outside of Bowers and if you want to say Jacoby Myers to an extent, I figured he'd get a lot of runs. So went with Genti. Then it was nice on the comeback to have a chance sitting there. I know that there was concerns about the calf going into the year, but I just know what he did last year, and I figured I couldn't pass up on him. Even the reports were that the calf was okay, so I wasn't too worried that he was going to step on the field and
Yeah.
immediately go down. But it was nice to be able to get him on the comeback, and
Question for you. So
yeah.
I went right after you and I took Amon-Ra and Derrick Henry. What did you think when I took Derrick Henry? I'm not saying like what did you think of me, but what did you think for yourself when I went Derrick Henry? Were you like, oh snap, he left me H-N, like that's elite, or were you like, okay, I guess I'll go with H-N?
Um,
If I took somebody other than if I took say H-N, I mean, all right, answer that first question, I guess.
well, for me, I was a no go on Henry going into the year. I thought that I thought the age would finally catch up to him. And to be honest, I was a no go on Saquon too, to an extent. If
Yeah.
he and he was the guy that carried me all through last year. But if somehow he had fallen to me at 11, obviously you'd take him at 11 there. But if I had an earlier pick, I don't know if I would have gone Saquon. I guess barring what other options were there. But yeah, Henry at that spot, I was staying away from, and then it was just convenient to have
Take
HN there.
H-N.
But if there was another receiver there that caught my eye, I'd probably go with them over Henry.
Really? So you probably
But
would have
then
taken if
obviously
I took H-N, you probably would have taken Jonathan Taylor by then or Josh Jacobs. Which I don't know. Are you a fan of taking Packers players or not really?
I am, especially Jacobs. And in that case, I probably, just speaking anecdotally, probably would have taken Jacobs.
Yeah.
I'm always kind of out on Taylor for whatever reason. I don't really know why. And that would obviously would have been a mistake this year because the guy's been a stud.
Yeah.
And also, I just like the carry usage that Jacobs had last year. I don't think he's quite there this year, but
He's good.
it's
He's
fine.
running back
He'll
7, I think. So he's been doing really well. And he
yeah,
has the
and
buy
he'll
ready. So he's
yeah.
running back 7. He's averaging 20 a game. 20.9 a game. So he's
I
there.
actually I actually didn't know that. But
Yeah.
and I think they'll kind of lean on him, especially as the weather gets colder and stuff like that too. So he'll only get better. But
His last two games were
um,
30 bombs. Yeah.
okay,
Against
yeah,
Dallas and Cincinnati though. So I mean,
yeah.
I don't
Doesn't get
know.
much softer than that.
Yeah.
Maybe Baltimore in there too. But yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so first two rounds went running back. Happy with how that played out so far. Um, then third round, I figured I had to go receiver, and I just went with best available, which was JSN, who obviously has been yeah, just an absolute
Unbelievable.
all-star this year.
Yeah,
Best
unbelievable.
receiver, not named Puka. So I didn't expect it to be to this level. I kind of had looked at him, especially not knowing what the change from Geno to Sam Darnold would be. Kind of looked at him as maybe like I don't want to say wide receiver two with wide receiver one upside, but didn't think he'd be putting up the numbers that he's putting up now. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
His
Um,
numbers so far have been 9 for 13, 124. 8 for 10, 103. 5 for 6, 96 and a touchdown. 4 for 79, and it was a tough game. 8 for 9, 132 and a touchdown. 8 for 13, 162 and a touchdown. Like he's going bananas. Especially the last 2 weeks. That's one of the picks. So I don't know if you've been noticing, but every time he does well, I've been mentioning it in the group chat. I I went into the draft and I don't do mock drafts anymore. That's a lie, I do them, but I don't do them until I get my pick because there's no point in doing them.
yeah,
And
yeah,
when I was doing it and I was trying to figure out if I go wide receiver, running back, whatever, we're trying to figure out my strategy. My strategy was to go wide receiver, running back, and then go wide receiver for 3 and 4. And the number one wide receiver on my board every single time that I wanted was JSN. JSN, JSN, JSN. And as the picks were falling, he was still there. And I kind of had a feeling that you might have taken him, but then when you actually did take him, I was like, I was like, no, I was like, no, no. So then I went with Mike Evans, and the rest is history. So and Marv, I
Mike
went
Evans
with Mike and
always
Marv, and the rest is history.
yeah, Mike's always a safe pick though. Eventually, but then again, you also do kind of always risk the soft tissue injury, but
Yeah,
it happens.
but no, I thought it
Um,
was a great pick. I really thought it was a great pick. I don't think he was gonna be wide receiver too, but I thought it was a great pick. So good for you. Um,
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I guess just running through it. Then having Omarion fall to the fourth round, or maybe not even fall, but be available to me in the fourth round. Another thing where rookie running back wasn't too concerned about Najee, and even at that time was when he had the fireworks thing, so he wasn't even
yeah.
like fully healthy at that time, anyways. So um, I just figured young back, like this is when teams use these backs and give them the bulk of their carries is when they're young and they're not paying them anything and they can just kind of yeah be
Beat them into the
workhorses. So
ground. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So figured I'd take a chance on that plus the receiving upside of him. And he was doing fine, and then the Najee injury happened, and that's when things kind of
Yeah.
exploded. I know obviously he's on the shelf now, but once Najee went down, he was a completely different player. So that was a big boost
Which
for
is
my team.
crazy because Najee wasn't even really doing that much.
I know, yeah, it was just like being not having like really any competition. I guess unlocked him for whatever reason, but
It
yeah.
makes
So I mean
sense.
that's those are my horses there, and then I went into had to fill out the rest of the team. Devonta Smith, always a guy I try to stay away from. I consider him and Waddle like the same
Yeah.
player. Well, you'll get a nice 10 target, 8 catch, 100 yard game and a touchdown maybe out of them, but once every like 5 games, and that one game that it happens, that they're probably on your bench at that point because you're so
Hmm.
frustrated, and then they explode. So um, just the way it fell, I had to take Smitty as a wide receiver too. Um,
You got two
and
Smiths on
then
there. Jackson Smith and
yeah,
Devonta Smith. I just realized that. That's funny.
um, And then the rest of my team has just been kind of improved just by circumstance. Jacoby Myers is always a high target guy. I'm kind of he started off hot. Was one of Gino's favorite guys, and I'm surprised he hasn't been a stud with Bowers being out.
You
I don't know
know, it's
what's happened to
weird.
him, but I hope that they're going to trade him soon. Maybe New England scants, um, bring him back. That'd be sweet. Um, but yeah, and then Godwin was there was a point in the season. I think it might have been week 4. I forget if Godwin's. No, I don't think Godwin was officially ever on IR, but there was a point when Najee had gone down, so Amarian got moved to RB1. Aaron Jones had gone down, so Mason got moved up to RB1, and then Evans had gone down. So and Godwin was coming back at the perfect time.
Yeah.
So there was a time when my team was like quite peak by obviously you never want to root for injury, but with the different circumstances that have played out, I thought I was going to be cruising
All at
from
my
there on.
expense, by the way. Let it be
Yeah,
known, all at my expense.
yeah,
Najee going down, I had Najee. Mike Evans going down,
Evans.
I have Mike Evans. Aaron Jones
Yep,
going down, I have Aaron Jones. All at my expense.
yep,
And we were
yep.
following each other in the draft. I don't know why
One
I
pick,
run. I don't
man.
know why I do the podcast and spend so much time doing this. Oh, it's brutal.
That's the difference. So yeah, obviously as the weeks have gone by, Godwin, I don't even know what his situation is anymore. It seems like he's going to be pretty banged up for the rest of the year. Um,
Yeah, he could just
Omarion,
hang it up.
don't know if he'll be the minimum 4 games. It sounds like it might be a little bit more than that, which is unfortunate. But Mason, I think is a great pick. I think I'll be able to use him pretty much for the rest of the year. I can't see Jones coming back and carrying that much of a load, but who knows? We'll see. I don't even know when Jones is officially coming back.
Yeah, I don't know
Um,
why they're. Don't ask me.
yeah,
He's
but
he's up on the top shelf, or I guess the bottom shelf. Top shelf's for your good stuff.
and then looking at the draft earlier today, just going through my team, I didn't realize I had picked Fields actually ahead of Herbert. I took him in back-to-back
Wow.
rounds and picked Fields the round before Herbert. He I mean, he might not even be the starter on the Jets in a week or two. So I don't know what the deal with him is. He's got a couple of boom games in there with his running and stuff like that, and it seemed to have a connection with GW for a little bit. But now GW is hurt, and Fields just seems to not be really an NFL caliber quarterback.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I have Herbert to lean back to fall back on and see where he can take me. But he's not certainly not a guy that's really going to give me much boom potential. He'll get me my 17 to 20 a week, and I'll just have to take that and live with it. But yeah, and then
He's QB8
TJ
though.
Hawkins.
I mean, QB8
Yeah, yeah,
averaging 17.9. I mean,
yeah.
for what round did you get him in? For the round that you got him in, like
11, I think.
11, that's what more can you ask for? I drafted Kyler in like the eighth, and now he's on waivers. So
Yeah, yeah, I guess that's true. But yeah, TJ Hawkinson, I wish I could get more out of him. I thought, especially with well, JJ or Wentz, I really thought he would just be a check down option for them. But I'm sure nobody's been watching him as closely as I have been. But he has a solid one catch for about 6 yards through 3 quarters, and then when the fourth quarter comes around, he
yeah,
gets like 5 catches for like 40 yards, and somehow he ends up with like 9 points or something like that. Um,
which like why don't you just use him the whole game?
yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see if he after the bye has a little bit of an uptick. And then Brandon Ayuk, I just looked yesterday or whatever. It doesn't seem like he's coming back until like week 10 or week 11. So I don't even know why I drafted him to stash him. Um, he's going to be nothing. But at this point, I've held him for so long that I can't drop in the waivers either. So um, yeah,
It's
we'll see. And
interesting.
then
It's interesting that half the league has that mentality, and the other half of the league, one guy has a bad one bad week, and for me, he's on waivers, man. I don't like seeing people's faces on my team that don't perform.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if there was someone valuable on waivers, he's definitely not somebody I'm gonna hold on to the team just to hold on to him. But for now, if I don't see anybody that's really screaming to pick up, then might as well just hold him for a little bit longer.
Yeah, if if he's not physically taking a spot on your bench, then I don't know, dude. This Michael Mayer guy is on here, the backup tight end. He played pretty well. I mean, I don't know if you drop Ayuk for him, but he actually played pretty well. I was against Tennessee, and Bauer should
Yeah,
be
he's
back, but
solid, but
that's like a
Hawk doesn't
waste.
have a bye left, and I can't see myself starting Mayer, especially
Yeah.
who knows Bowers. I don't think he'll play this week, but he'll be back relatively soon, I think. I say that now. I actually don't really know, but yeah, and then just the rest of my team, just kind of supplemental Woody Marks, Kenny Gainwell.
Woody Marks,
Um,
the namesake. Gotta
yeah,
keep
the
him on there
namesake
for, gotta keep
exactly.
him on there because the team's named after him.
Yeah, I think it'll be his backfield eventually too. I thought it was that one breakout week that he had, and then he kind of gave things back up to Chubb the next week. But I think it'll be his back. I can't see Chubb being a full year back.
Yeah,
So
and Mixon's not coming back anytime soon.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, at this point, yeah, I don't think he's coming back, but maybe.
Yeah. Talk about burning an 11th round pick. You picked up Justin Fields in the 11th round. I picked up Joe Mixon.
I mean,
Hell of two 11th rounds. But
yeah,
no, it's
yeah. I
good.
mean, it
Go ahead.
it's something where if Mixon came back even in week really at any point this season, that would be a steal, obviously, in the 11th round after what he had done last year with Houston.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's obviously in hindsight now, that's a waste of an 11th rounder. But
Yeah. You were going for upside. I saw the vision
Yeah,
of like, wow, I get Henry and Aaron Jones, who's like a decent running, he was like a decent running back on a decent team for a while. And then like maybe week 5 or 6 or 4, 5, 6, I end up having Henry and Mixon as my two running backs. Like I was like, I'm
yep,
chilling. Like
yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, damn, this team's gonna be unreal, but whatever. I always like I always hate I always don't like drafting guys that aren't gonna play week one unless it's like a really late round stash. But even if it's a really late round stash, like I don't like, for example, and this will be a good segue into the power rankings. For example, like what Joe did with Rashee Rice. Like Rashee Rice, where did he take him? He's starting him this week. Um, he took him in the 7th round. Now, he's been out for 6 weeks. Took him in the 7th round. He ended up picking up Quentin Johnson um from waivers, so that ended up recovering the loss from Rashee Rice. But you take a big gamble drafting a guy that's suspended for 6 weeks, and you don't have a wide receiver too for 6 weeks, and now he's 1-5, and I know he's getting bopped over the head, but like, what was that for?
I would disagree with that in this instance because at least with Rashid, it was you knew it was going to be 6 games and only 6 games. He is fully healthy. Well, I mean, I guess he's technically coming off an ACL injury, but he's fully healthy and hasn't he's been practicing and stuff like that. So all of that, like I think about my nightmare situation back when I drafted Melvin Gordon on the Chargers and when he
Yeah,
was in his holdout talks. And he I think held out for maybe 6 weeks, and then even when he came back, it was Eckler's backfield at that time anyway. So like that was a disaster for me, who spent a fairly high pick hoping that he'd end his contract and be playing
yeah,
by week 2. That's something you just never know. At least with Rashid, it was like okay, like 6 weeks and he'll be back to wide receiver one status for the Chiefs. Um,
I guess
yeah,
that's
same thing
fair.
with like I guess injuries and stuff like that too. Like you never know sometimes. Like Ayuk, for example, like I kind of thought it'd be like a 4 to 6 week thing, and now all of a sudden it's like maybe week 10. So
Yeah,
suspension's a little bit different than injury or holdouts and stuff like that. But yeah, it's definitely a risk every time when you're signing up to draft a guy that you know isn't playing, at
day
least in the
one.
fantasy season,
Yeah,
like a third of the season. Yeah.
yeah.
Or not even fantasy. Yeah, half the season.
The picks that were taken after Rashee Rice were David Njoku, Tyler Warren, Cooper Kupp, Baker Mayfield, Michael Pittman Jr., Jacoby Myers, Rome Odunze.
Yeah.
So
So
I would rather have taken Warren, Pittman, and Odunze at that point. But again, hindsight, and we'll see. Rashee's definitely going to be a monster now, but he's 1-5, so we have to. He's got to win. Speaking
yep.
of that, we have the power rankings. Good segue. Oh, he's not even 11. We have a good segue. So the bottom three of the power rankings this week, Chris Cataldo at 12, myself at 11, which I think is well deserved, and Joe at 10. So just to kind of touch on them, Joe and Chris are playing against each other. So why don't we pick that matchup right now,
Yep.
and then maybe you want to give like a quick go. You want to give like a quick go forward for both of these teams because again, 1-5 and 0-6, you're almost halfway through the season and you're staring right in the face of a punishment, and which is funny because these two have already been punished, so they have a good opportunity, but the first two-time punished in our league's history.
And neither of them actually really did the punishment too. So that's so
Yeah, I
that's another
know.
factor at
The
play
two
here.
frauds pinning off
Yeah.
each other, squaring off against each other. No,
Yep.
this time we're gonna make sure that the punishment is completed till to its fullest extent. But yeah, tell me who's gonna win this matchup and why.
Um, I mean, I think Joe's going to win the matchup. I think we talked about it. I listened to Grant's pod before this. His team is good. He's just getting unlucky, and now he's getting Rasheed back too. So um, I just think his team is better top to bottom. I know Cataldo gets Kittle back, which is will be a big boost for him. Looking at it now, it looks like Kittle's playing against the number one defense against tight ends in Atlanta, so it might not even be a great return. Especially, I don't know. I haven't read into if he's going to have a full workload. I'll be on a snap count and stuff like that. But yeah, for Cataldo, I mean, I liked the trade, the Nico for ETN trade at the time. I looked before this. Since the trade, I think ETN has averaged 8 points a game, and Nico's kind of done what Nico is supposed to do. So it was the ultimate buy low for Keenan,
Yeah.
and the
Or
ultimate sell.
sell high for ETN, or sell high for
Well,
Keenan.
yeah, but well, same thing. Yeah, so he sold ETN high, bought Nico low, um, and literally as soon as that trade happened, things kind of went back to the norm. I mean, not that ETN's a bad back, but Nico went back to being the top 15, top 10, 15
Yeah,
receiver that he is, and ETN. Maybe it's matchup based. I haven't looked into it that much, but yeah, he clearly didn't keep up what he did to start the season. So that's another factor working against Cataldo. But yeah, I mean, it could. Who knows if CD comes back this week too? But obviously Pickens has been a big player this year, wide receiver four. Um, his volume was different when CD was active and playing. So we'll see now if Pickens had developed that chemistry with Dak over the past couple of weeks with CD out, if that'll continue, or if CD will go back to being the target monster that he is. But
yeah,
um, yeah, I mean, just kind of a tough season so far. Like Chase Brown going into the year, you thought would be another solid player like he was last year, like receiving wise and running wise. I mean, maybe the Burrow injury has a factor in that as well, but
100%.
just a lot of guys that you had a lot of hope for. Jaden Daniels, another great example. Obviously, injury was a factor there as well, but yeah, just a lot of big names that are not performing well, and they're all kind of on one team, and it's just tough for Cataldo right now.
Had to do anything about it. Yeah, he's had a pretty crappy go of it. I'm looking at Joe's team, and I said this last week, but now that Rushy's back, his team is probably top to bottom. I think the only other team that I would rather have than Joe's team is Keenan's. I think his lineup is loaded, and I think his bench is loaded. Um,
Um, yeah, his receiver room is
he
sick.
has every guy on his bench, every person on his bench can start.
Yep,
Like
yep.
can start. It can be in a starting lineup in any 12 on any 12 man team, which is
Yeah, I
really
mean his
impressive.
bench has 63 points projected this week, and that's with James Cook being on bye.
Yeah,
So if it was normal, that would be like 80 points just on his bench of projected points. So yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's something where Joe can play this one of two ways. He can see that his team is well, I guess in fairness, his team was always kind of healthy. He just didn't have Rasheed the whole time. So like I guess he has gotten unlucky because like his lineup hasn't changed really week over week. But now he's just getting adding Rasheed into the fold. So it is a little curious that he's 1-5. But maybe
He's just
that's
been getting
matchup.
smoked. That's literally
Yeah,
all it is.
yeah.
He's been getting the fantasy gods have been, punishing him for doing what he did, and he's been getting smoked. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He won't get smoked this week,
Um,
that's for damn sure. But he just has to score.
yeah, yeah. So I'm curious to see if he does make a move. I mean, honestly, though, looking at the roster, like there's not really much he can upgrade. I mean, Brees, we'll see if he gets traded one and two. He hasn't been that effective. Monty's had a weird year. Hasn't really gotten the volume I thought he would like the past couple of years. But maybe that I'm sure that'll change. And then James Cook is great. It seems like he scores every week. I know he had a down game last on Monday, but yeah, no, I mean not many concerns about Joe's team here. I think things will probably end up going back to the norm for him, and then
Yeah,
we'll see
we'll
piling up
see.
the wins
Who
and then
knows? Maybe a
moving
late
forward.
playoff push.
Yeah.
So your bottom three, like I said, Chris Cataldo, Marco, and Joe. Your middle six. We'll talk about the middle six quick.
You didn't want to talk
Um,
about your team?
no, that's quite all right. No, I mean, my starting running backs week one were Derrick Henry and Aaron Jones, and now I'm trotting out Jalen Warren and Kamani Vidal. So I don't want to talk about it.
All
I
right.
get Mike Evans back, I think, this week. So whatever, we'll see. I don't want to talk about it. We're playing against each other this week. You're gonna pick me. Are you picking you? Are you picking you to beat me this week?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
so you're picking you to beat me this week. So I mean, whatever. There's nothing to talk about. My team
All
sucks.
right. All right.
I probably would be the worst team if Chris wasn't 0-6. So um, yeah, I have a
I
lot of
know
work to
Amon
do.
Ra's been good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's been all right. Yeah, he's been good. Other than that, everyone's been terrible. I know Roma Dunze's been good, but everyone else has been disappointing.
Rome, yeah, I'm not
Everyone
sold on
else has
Rome.
been disappointing.
We've had that talk already.
100. All right, so your next six, number nine, Akul, was actually taking he's taking a pretty bad slide. Um, really took a slide in the power rankings. His bench is like pretty upsetting. He has Lamar in IR, Emeka Egbuka out, Garrett Wilson doubtful, Brock Bowers out. So his second, fourth, fifth, and third. Yeah, his second, third, fourth, and fifth picks are all not playing this week.
Yeah.
So he's actually starting Ryan Flournoy.
Yeah,
I-
yeah.
what is that?
That is dire
Um,
straits there.
yeah, so he's struggling. He's at nine. Zach is at eight. Ante making his way up the ranks. He's now at seven. Had a couple of good weeks back to back. Um, and Josh at six, who put together a pretty good week last week, and then Scance cracking the top five after beating me in what would seem to be an absolute dumpster fire fest. And I texted Chris like hours before, like in the middle of Sunday. I said the race to 100 wins, and it ended up being 100 to 93. So. But that rounds out your next what did I do? Your next five? Yeah, that rounds out the next five. Is there anybody's team there that you wanted to touch on? Maybe a team that you think is continuing to be on the up and ups, and maybe a team that needs to reassess.
Yeah, I I know you mentioned Ante's team rising in the ranks. I think things are looking better for him. I like Jackson as at quarterback. The running has been awesome. He's just been a big lift to that whole team. So
So
um,
cool to see, honestly. He's a good dude, seems like.
yeah, yeah. So I think that that's a big fill at quarterback that helped to replace Burrow. Judkins, he was another question mark going into draft day with his holdout and stuff like that, and then also the legal stuff he had going on off the field. So he's been great since he's joined. Jamar Chase obviously gets a big boost from the Flacco change. Um, Ladd and McBride, Ladd, you knew his time was he was always going to eventually get his targets and stuff like that. So Um, we'll see if last week was a sign of things to come. And then Trey McBride, he's like one of my favorite guys in fantasy, so
Yeah.
he's just going to continue to carry Ante's team. I'm pleasantly surprised with Debo. He's another guy I typically stay away from, but he's been awesome and he's been contributing, even with or without Jaden. So yeah, I just think Ante's team is solid. Plus, he always has the voodoo magic on his side, anyways. So
Yeah.
I think that yeah, he has the guys that and the type of receiver where they get lots of targets and lots of receptions that they can he can kind of keep making a run here. Um,
You want to hear something funny? I actually sent him a trade request for Jamar Chase, and I thought it was a pretty decent deal, but I sent him the trade and he didn't see it. Not that he would have accepted it anyway, but I sent him the trade for a request for Jamar Chase and Matthew Golden, and I think I was giving him a Dunze Mike Evans or a Dunze Marv and something else. I don't know what it was, but it wasn't that bad of a
okay.
deal. And he didn't see it. And literally 5 minutes later, the Bengals ended up trading for Joe Flacco.
Yeah,
Like, how does that happen?
story of your season.
So
Yeah,
he wasn't gonna do it once Flacco got traded. But no, I think his team's on the up and up. I think his running back core is still the funniest. It's funny because that looks like a running back core that his running backs look like what my running backs look like right now after having a guy on bye and a guy get injured. And these are the running backs that he started with this season.
yeah, yeah.
But Quinshon Judkins has been good. He's been
He's
pretty
been
good.
good. Pollard hasn't been as good as I expected him to be, but I guess that team is just so terrible that maybe
Terrible.
it's that's probably why.
Terrible. So we have a few minutes left already. We're already down to like 7.5 minutes. So
Yeah,
I wanted to talk to you about trade. First, we'll give the top four. So the top four are Rich, Grant, Keenan, and Vinco. If you wanted to give a quick minute, or if you wanted to give a quick minute about any of those guys, I know you spoke about your team. I think your team
yep.
is on the up and up, so that's great. Um, if you wanted to talk about who would you rather be right now, Vinco or Keenan? Probably the answer would probably be Vinco, but who would you rather be right now, Vinco or Keenan?
It's actually funny looking at the two teams. Honestly, probably Vinco because um, obviously the Puka injury is a blow to Keenan's team. Maybe it's only a 1 week thing, which would be great news. But on the flip side of that, with Puka being out, Devontae Da is now obviously probably going to be the alpha receiver in LA. So um, Keenan's loss is Vinco's gain, and that
Yeah,
I think honestly could be the difference because they're both extremely high target receivers.
yeah,
So that's the biggest thing to me. I mean, like we already touched on earlier, but the Nico trade is a great trade for Keenan. To be able to have him and Puka in the same lineup there is awesome. And then doing a good job. I feel like I don't think he drafted Dowdle, but having Dowdle as Chuba's handcuff, I mean, that guy's been the best running back in football for the past 2 weeks. So
yeah. It's
um,
unbelievable. He
it's just that,
actually Chris drafted Dowdle, dropped Dowdle, in the like right after he made the trade with Keenan, and then Keenan picked up Dowdle the week Chuba got hurt, and then Dowdle went off, and then Dowdle played the Cowboys and then went off again.
yeah, yeah.
Sometimes,
Um,
sometimes things just fall in your lap, or sometimes like you just like you're on one for 1 year in fantasy, and it's just like everything's working,
Everything's clicking. Yep.
everything's clicking. It just happens. It just happens, man. I
Yeah.
mean, looking at Vinco's team, he has right now after 6 weeks, he has QB1, RB1, tight end one, and defense one, and he drafted all of those.
Nuts.
It's
That's
impressive. It really is.
and AJ Brown on his bench,
Yeah, and
and
AJ Brown on
probably
his
not
bench.
coming off unless there's an injury to Olave or Worthy or something
Yeah,
like that. So, um, yeah, insane.
yeah, he's crushed it. So good for you, Vinco. As much as I hate giving you props, good for you. So we have 5 minutes left. I wanted to see what your thoughts were. First let's do things that matter. Pick the rest of the matchups for me. So Chris Scantlebury versus Ante. That's actually a pretty good matchup this week.
Yes, I took Ante in that.
Okay. Grant versus Cool. I think Grant's getting a good opportunity to get a good win off a good team.
Yes, I took Grant in that.
Keenan against Zach. I think that's a pretty solid matchup.
I took Keenan in that.
Keenan's going to be back on the winning column. Josh against Vinko. That's going to be a great matchup for the group chat this weekend.
That's gonna be a good matchup. I took Vinko in that one.
Oh, wow. Okay. So we have Rich over me, Ante over Chris S, Grant over Akul, Keenan over Zach, Vinko over Josh, Joe over Chris Cataldo.
Yep.
Making
Yep.
Chris Cataldo 0-7 to start the season.
That's spooky season
I
right there.
don't know if that's ever happened before in our league. I know Ante had the worst record ever at 2-11, but I don't know if 0-7's ever been done before. Um, Sunday Night Football is Falcons against the 49ers. We need to win, my friend, because we're at a point now where we have to dip back into our pockets for money. So I put down $25 every single week. And I put the $25 in one for week one, and I use it to whatever the winnings, and I just whatever I use that money. So this week I have to add more money because we're down.
We're off.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're down. I have to replenish the funds. So we need to win this week. So who do you have for the anytime touchdown score? Atlanta against San Francisco in
Are
Atlanta.
there minimum odds that we have to
No,
abide by here?
no.
Because I mean, the obvious answer for me would be Bijan, just because of how
Yeah.
depleted the 49ers defense is now. So with no Fred Warner in there, um, that would be my choice. Also, a CMC would be another choice, but Atlanta's defense has been so good. I think Bijan's a safer choice actually there.
So we're gonna go Bijan. Bijan actually got us a win, I think, and we. Oh no, I think Bijan lost us. We didn't get a win with Bijan, I don't think. Let me see quickly.
I worry that he'll be like minus like 300 or something like that probably, but a
Let's
win's
see.
a win,
Hold
I
on.
guess.
Bijan, yeah, we lost it. We did Bijan week two. Zach at vote. Zach picked him and we lost. I had him at like minus 155 and minus 104. Did a little bit of a bet thingy, and we lost it. So, um, all right, let's go. Let's run it back with Bijan. Um. I just want to talk quickly. What'd you think about this? You have 2 minutes left. What'd you think? Give me 1 minute. What'd you think about the trade between Zach and Grant? It was Josh Allen for Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's two alpha quarterbacks just being kind of swapped. It's uh, they're both interesting this year because it hurts. You always have the Eagles just seem like a mess offensively. Saquon's not running like he did last year,
Yeah.
and Hurts obviously has just all the drama with the receivers and stuff like that. So I don't know. I mean, and Allen's the MVP, and but he doesn't have the strongest weapons around him either. I'm saying all this negative stuff. There's still two of the top three quarterbacks in all fantasy football, so um, it's fine. It's a change of scenery for both guys, and I'm sure Grant and Zach are probably both excited to just have new blood on their team. And
Yeah.
but I think that they'll both. I mean, they're both a floor of 20 points a game, so um, I don't know. I don't think there's much to say
You know what's
about it
crazy?
really.
If you put Josh Allen, we have less than a minute. If you put Josh Allen on the Eagles and Jalen Hurts on the Bills, I think the Bills would be like a mid-pack team and the Eagles would be like 15 and 0. They would go like 15 and 2,
Probably,
15 and
yeah.
1.
AJ Brown would have like
Um,
120 catches a year.
no, it would be
Yeah.
insane. Insane. Um, what punishment are you eliminating
Oh,
this
yes, that's
week?
right. I did look at that. I am eliminating, and I know we only have like 30 seconds, so I'm on the clock here. I am going to eliminate the 12 beers and the NFL draft combine. Uh,
I just think that's way too much. I think that's way too many beers.
I think it's a lot of beers, and I just also just don't think, based on the history of our league, especially the punishment last year, that we can actually set up a full draft combine.
I agree.